So just like we did with the power chords, where we played the original riff on one string, on just that low E string, open 3, 5, open 3, 6, 5, open 3, 5, 3, open, 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 and then added the fifth note for each. Now what we are going to do is, instead of playing it as power chords, we'll play it as octaves. So we can use the trick that we just learned in the previous lesson of finding the octave by going down, instead of one string and up 2 frets to find the power chord, we can go down 2 strings and up 2 frets to find the octave. Or you can also just do it by replacing whatever note you added with the power chord and just going down 1 string and adding your finger there instead. To play just the clean octave and make sure you're not getting that fifth, that power chord note in there, what you want to make sure you're doing is that you're muting the A string by resting this kind of fleshy part of your finger, your index finger, across the A string. So it's fretting down on the E string, but also kind of just gently resting on the A string so that you don't hear that note. So if you're pressing too hard, you'll hear that note ring out. But what you want to do is make sure that you're just playing with your fingertip on the E string, and that the rest, the pad of your finger, is just gently touching that A string to mute it. And then what you want to be doing is you want to be fretting that note that is 2 down, 2 strings down, so on the D string, and then 2 frets up from whatever note you're fretting with your index finger to form the octave. So just for the sake of example, we'll go through the first little portion of the riff, and then you can figure out the rest on your own. So for the first part of the riff, it's that open E once again. So what we're going to do to find the octave is jump down. So we're on the open E, jump down to the open A, or the 0th fret, you can think of it as, and then we're going to jump up 2 frets. So first fret, second fret. So there is our octave for the E. So E and octave E. What you're going to do is you're actually going to be striking all the E, the A, and the D string. However, what you want to do to mute that A string is when you fret down the second fret on the D string, what you want to be doing is be touching the very tip of your finger here, like the top portion of your finger, just gently resting it against, as you can kind of see here, just gently resting it against the A string as well. And this will mute it as best as you can. And if you play both, it's not a big deal. It will still sound all right. But just kind of try to get into the habit of gently muting it with the very tip of your finger as you fret down. So that will be the first chord. So the second note that's played in the riff, open 3, 5. So it's the 3. To find the octave, we're going to jump down 2 strings, up 2 frets. So we'll be playing the 5th fret on the D string. And like I mentioned before, you can play the octave with your ring finger. You can play it with your pinky. I personally prefer to play it with my pinky, but do whatever makes you comfortable. And once again, you want to be muting that A string by resting the pad of your finger that's underneath your fingertip onto the A string in order to mute it. And you're just trying to strike those 3 strings, the E, the A, and the D. Then for the final note in the first part of the riff, open 3, 5 is that 5 to find the octave. So we're going to use the same trick. We start on the 5, go down 2 strings, up 2 frets. So we're going to be playing the 7th fret on the D string. And once again, muting that A string. So all together, we're going to just play that. But now we're going to add the octave each time for each note that we would be playing. So it will sound like so. And then the only other one that you need to learn for the whole song is you just take that shape and you slide it up to the 6th fret. And that's all the chords that you need to know to play it octave style. So I'll leave it to you to figure out the rest, but in the end, it should sound like this. Just like with power chords, you can slide those octaves up, so I'd practice that. And once you do that, really all you need to memorize is two things. The initial, the open string octave for the E octave chord, and then just this shape here, the just typical octave shape. Either playing it with your pinky or with your ring finger, doesn't really matter. Just make sure you're trying to mute that A string using the fleshy portion of your index finger. And you just slide that up. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Once again, we have leveled up our Smoke on the Water riff, and we're just taking it to the stratosphere at this point. Thanks for tuning on in, and we'll catch you in the next lesson. Adios, amigos.